Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Just a couple?
Just a couple.
Okay.
And Nick
I'll
is
sign
here.
up for a couple.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
Hey.
Hold on.
And Steve is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is being brought to you by Adamas.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. And the broadcast is made possible by Telestream Wirecast software. Yep, that's it. So
Well,
how-
it's finished already.
Have a great week, Steve. See you then.
how was y'all's week?
All right.
All y'all?
It's passable. Spence, you're
Supposedly.
muted.
Yep. It works better when I unmute. I have to yell really loud to work when it's muted.
It does your throat in after a while, doesn't it?
Exactly.
My father would like that shed that you have behind you. Would love that as a workshop.
Yes. Isn't that cool? That's somewhere in the Yukon, our military surplus building. I would give
He always
credit to
complains
the
the area.
photographer, but it's been a while since I found that picture. So
What you could do with a space like that?
yes, wouldn't that be awesome? No posts, no beams, just open space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to find an old World War II surplus Quonset hut still in the crates.
Yeah, that'd be, I dare say they buried a lot of them.
Yeah. There was back when I was a kid, they had these offers. You'd see them in magazines and comic books for Army surplus Jeeps in the crate. You could buy for $35 shipped.
Yeah,
And it
right.
was, that supposedly, I mean, if there was one ever that somebody got for $35, they made a big deal out of saying. But it turned out it was just you subscribing to their newsletter to tell you about auctions that would happen somewhere.
Yeah.
Could possibly, if you were there and if things were exactly the way you expected them to be, you might be able to bid on an old Jeep. But the urban legend was the Jeeps would come in a crate, completely cosmolined, rust-proofed, all that stuff. The only thing you'd have to replace on them was any rubber parts that would have rotted away, tires and seals and so on the engine and hoses.
I don't know anybody that ever got a Jeep that way, but there are pictures of them.
Yes.
The thing is, you had to put the thing together.
Yes, yeah, it was disassembled. It was shipped. It was
Yeah.
put in a ocean-going shipping container.
But yeah, it was just a way for some of these outfits to to get you to log to get into their list, so to speak.
Yep.
Nah, it's all right.
Still people buzzing around Europe looking in old barns for
Yeah.
vehicles that were left from the war that people used for a while, and then when the person was gone, they were forgotten about, and they're still sitting there. And
Those things, when they sit, they rust.
yes, although there was a story I saw a couple years ago about some warehouse that was on somebody's property that was locked up for many, many, many years. I think it was in England, or it might have been France. And somebody bought the property at auction, and they showed basically the unveiling. They went up with a grinder, cut the lock off, and they went inside, and were like 50 vintage vehicles.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. It was worth millions. Italian sports cars, Rolls Royces.
Yeah. So who's gonna bring us up to date on Samsung?
Oh,
21st of September.
don't you have a Samsung rep coming onto the show today?
Excuse the pun, but they wouldn't want to be grilled.
No, they
No.
wouldn't.
They're probably a little busy right now.
So what's the latest is that what was it? They charged the battery up to 60%, Steve?
Yeah, they brought a firmware fix to tell the unit that 60% charge was full. So you only ever got 60% charge, and as far as the phone was concerned, it was full. Apparently, the new replacements are going to be 21st of September, so I read. And what was the other thing I read? Oh, yes, Samsung are rushing out the Galaxy 8 so they can sort of just wave over this 7 fiasco that there's been. So it's going to be out, 8 is going to be out a lot earlier.
So I wonder what problems there are with the 8 if they rush it to market. Will it turn it on and start to vibrate?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
And shake itself onto the floor?
Did you see that? I read today that the let's be decent and give Apple a bit of a knock as well. Excuse me. Apparently, some people are complaining that the iPhone 7 is hissing. There's like a sort of buzzy, hissy noise coming from it when it's when you're playing some games. And they're looking into that at the moment. There seem to be more and more reports coming in of iPhones hissing.
Sounds like a capacitor or something hissing when
Yeah.
put under load or something. Or a chip.
Yeah, it's only when it's under load playing games, apparently.
Oh, so you know what to do? They'll just throttle the performance because that'll solve the problem.
Yeah,
Just get an
throttle it down to
old-fashioned
60%.
Yeah, just turn down the power by half and then it's great.
Just get an old-fashioned scratch filter, like you used to use for old phonographs, and just put that on there. Get rid of the hiss. They have software that came with my USB turntable that was a scratch and pop filter. Just apply that.
I want to get into some technical here with Wirecast with Nick for a second. Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
So I see Spence delayed his speech right here. And I don't know if it's like this, but last time you told me that you see him and he's synced. You are...
Hi, Spence. How are you?
Am I synced to you, Nick?
Yeah, no, he's perfectly. I mean, it's pretty close, Amnon. It's not like a big delay.
Okay, you are almost synced.
Okay, so then it's on your end.
He's
Yeah,
not
now
synced to
you're
me,
perfectly
but I'm in England.
Now, Nick, you're perfectly synced, so it will be here.
All right. Well, yeah, but there's nothing we can do. So just
That's interesting.
Fine.
Should I refresh?
no.
No. All right. Okay.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't affect the show at all.
Yeah, I know, because the recording later on, it's perfect. And
Oh.
I don't
Then who
understand
cares?
it.
No, don't worry. It doesn't matter. Let's
All
just
right,
move on.
All right. Well,
Sit here and spend 45 minutes on it for no
well,
use.
no. I mean, it's a learning curve, and other people may learn for it. So that's the whole point. But it's okay. So
43 minutes is acceptable.
What difference does it make?
Yeah, just put your hand in front of your mouth.
But anyway, so Samsung is also telling the owners of Note 7 to power down your device and return to using your previous phone.
Well, that's
Yeah, that's good advice. You're holding it wrong.
Says we will voluntarily replace your Galaxy Note 7 device with a new one beginning on September 19th. We acknowledge the inconvenience this may cause in the market, but this is to ensure that Samsung continues to deliver the highest quality products to our customers. And I can just see somebody who got the new phone, gave the old phone to a kid relative who, hey, he's got something to play with, and now he has to go and take it back.
it's temporary. Life goes on.
Yeah, tell that to a kid. Yeah, this will blow over. I mean, obviously.
This will not blow over. Samsung has already lost $22 billion worth of market value. This could very well be the significant downfall of Samsung as a major phone manufacturer.
But it's
There is
okay.
no
'cause
way to recover from this.
they're making fridges with tablets built into the front of them, so they'll be okay.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not trying to overreact here, but $22 billion in market value, and the solution to the problem is going to be to rush out a new phone. I mean, that's not going to solve anything.
That is. Think about how dangerous that is.
Yeah,
And
it's
what
not
could happen? from
exactly.
that?
It doesn't
I know.
solve anything.
I don't
So,
want to think about it from that perspective.
It's
and now they're getting sued. I mean, it's not. It's they're now the people's that phones are exploding are now suing Samsung. This is not going to end well for them at all.
I read this morning that somebody with one going off in their pocket is suing them.
Yeah. So
I should go talk to
It's
Volkswagen and get some advice.
yeah,
It's a good job that they sell lots and lots of different products and they're not just set in one
yeah.
field.
Yeah, because the TV market's big for them too. So now the question I ask, and Amnon, when was the last time we had somebody call into the show? It's been like 2 months. But if somebody wants to call in, I'm curious on what Samsung phones are, or what Android smartphones are good on the market right now. Because it seems like the Note was the new thing in the S7, but I don't know if I feel comfortable buying either of those two phones.
So our number is 919-518-9773, or you can connect with us on Computers 2K Voice on Skype. You don't want to be on video. This is just audio.
Yeah,
Voice
just
only.
call in. I'm
So
curious
call
on
in,
what-
yeah.
And I don't know if he's in the chat, probably not. But Brian Aldridge, host of Infection, is in the kind of the same boat that I'm in. He needs a new phone. He doesn't want to buy an iPhone 7, but is not sure. But and doesn't want to spend $1,000 on a flagship Android phone. So
Okay, so
I
which
think I'm
phone?
gonna-
Which phone do you have?
which one do I have? I have the iPhone 6.
So why do you feel like you have to get a new one? What's the reason?
Because the battery life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you really use a smartphone, like if you actually use it every day,
Yeah.
like me, I'm in school, so that's kind
Right.
of my
Yeah.
connection to the world. A 2-year-old smartphone might as well be a 25-year-old computer. you know, what my phone is dying halfway through the day. It
And
makes
there
it
is-
very, very hard to do anything.
And there's still no way to change the battery in it easily.
I mean, I could buy
easily,
a battery
easily.
pack, but I mean that's just
No. The internal battery. There is.
No,
It's not just open it, change
No,
it, close it back.
No.
See, that's
I
what
mean,
I
I
like.
could- I
That's
could buy a battery case, but that's not really a solution to the problem. That's a temporary fix.
Have you thought about going for a phone that has a replaceable battery that you can get a spare and just slot it in?
Well, I liked my Note 2 or 3, but what I'm looking at now is I'm trying to find I'm trying to find a cheap smartphone, that's not under contract, because I did the AT&T Next, and it's ridiculous. It's a total scam, and the flagship phones are just too damn expensive. I mean, the Note 7 is literally $900. And I mean, I'm going to build a new desktop. I'm going to buy a $1,000 graphics card for my desktop before I spend $900 on a cell phone. So
They have
you
some
looked at
very
the-
nice, expensive LG or other manufacturer Android smartphones at the grocery store that you
Well,
can buy unlocked, no contract.
a few
dual,
phones.
dual band. They work with GSM and CDMA. I mean,
Yeah.
they're amazing for the
few of
price. Simple.
Yeah, a
but
few of
they
the
work.
phones I'm looking at is looking at the OnePlus series. I'm sure you guys are familiar with OnePlus. They have their new OnePlus 3 out, which is only $399, which is not crazy. That's realistic for a phone. It's got nice specs on it.
Have you looked at the cheaper brands, HTC and
So-
other brands like that?
I haven't, and it's an interesting line because there's a point between wanting to save money and being in a situation where you're kind of screwed yourself after like a year. I could buy, I think it's the Moto G something or other, the Moto G or something like that, G4.
Yeah. G4.
It's like $150, but if I spend $150 on it and I only get a year out of it, $300 or $400 on a phone and get 2 years out of it, I'd probably rather spend a couple $100 more.
Yeah, but
So
the
I'm
thing,
looking at this
but,
OnePlus 3.
But Nick, this is what I was asking. So, if you could right now spend $30, get another battery and put it in, and you're back to good battery. How is this? Well, no. I mean, theoretically,
No,
is this phone still going to be good for what you want to do with it, or you are also going
that's-
after new features?
Well, that's why I'm trying to find I'm trying to find that tipping point where you can get a good phone, and the OnePlus 3 is a good phone. It's got a Snapdragon 820, 64 gigabytes of storage. I mean, it's a new phone, a newer phone at a decent price. But I'm trying to find that. I'm trying to find that peak where your cost and performance kind of shoots up, and I think one of the OnePluses, the OnePlus 3 specifically, might be the solution. There's also the who is it? The newest Nexus, which or not Nexus, but it's the 6P, which is the unsubsidized Android phone, is a few $100s as well. But that's already a year and a half old, so who knows? But I'm on the hunt. Yeah, the 6P is $500, which isn't unreasonable. I wouldn't have a problem spending $500 on a smartphone.
Okay. Well,
But I'm definitely not spending $900 or $800 on a phone. It's just too much. And unfortunately, with the Next plans, it makes it really, really hard to buy a new phone, like a new phone.
You just need this a tide you over phone until you realize what the market's going to do.
Well, and then that was the other question, Steve, is do I go like Spence said and get literally $100 Android phone to just kind of hold me over and figure out what the hell's going to happen?
It depends how super duper you need it to be. If it's just a case of keeping in contact, SMSing, and playing the odd slimline game, then why do you need such a hunky dory smartphone?
No, I'm definitely I'm definitely a power user. I have to be. I mean, it is my computer for 8 hours out of the day. It's my main connection. But I'm gonna figure something out, and I'm interested in what other people are doing. I'm not sure anybody here is doing it, but if anybody has any feedback on phones, this OnePlus 3 is nice. It's like $500. It's got a fingerprint scanner, which is a big deal, especially when you come from an iPhone that's got a fingerprint scanner. It looks like a nice phone, so maybe I'll give this thing a try.
£389 in the UK.
Yeah, it's not crazy inexpensive. $400 for a phone, plus whatever shipping would cost or whatever.
Shipping is $500,
and actually shipping is free. So there you go. So $400 for this phone.
Free shipping in the UK too.
And it's nice. It's got a Type-C, USB Type-C, which is, in my opinion,
because all your other devices aren't. So you have to buy loads of adapters.
Well, I wouldn't have to buy. I mean, I just buy one cable. But the nice thing with USB Type-C is you can get the Amazon Basic cables for like $5. So there's options out there. The question is what to buy.
Well, the market's flooded, so you have your choice.
Yeah. I'm going to, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing more research and figuring out what the solution is. But if anybody's got any feedback, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, if you checked with Apple, how much would it cost for them to replace the battery?
I don't know. I'm not interested. I mean, I'm not interested in that. It wouldn't. The phone's already 2 years old, so even if I spent $100 to replace the battery, I'm not looking at getting I am not going to get another year out of the phone.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you guys use your smartphones all day, every day, but when you do that, you for 2 years, it really, really starts to wind down, and this is totally a first world problem. I understand that completely, but it's just the way things are.
I was just reading an article about how people were disappointed that the technology behind the iPhone 7. They thought there would be some changes in the board technology and the way they actually mount the processor and the way the processor is. The form factor and so on, because there is an issue with the solder creep and bending that is still out there. They didn't fix it in the 7. And it's got to do with, over time, slight flexing of the case will cause the solder joints to loosen up. And they're not even fixing it in refurb phones. Phones that come back that they refurb and send to people under warranty have the same issue. That where they'll start wonky things will start to happen. You'll get a dead spot on your screen that doesn't respond to the touch, or other things will start to happen that will just be, they could be fixed by the way the form factor is handled. So I noticed that occasionally I seem to have a dead spot on my screen that if I close what I'm in and go back to it again, it fixes it. But now that could be my case. I have an out-of-box case, and it's in really bad shape. So I might be doing something else from the protective screen perspective. But some criticism there over the lackluster 7 introduction.
This was a very marginal upgrade for the iPhone, and
yes, marginal is right.
But
very, very marginal. Courage, though. Courage.
And they've got a double camera. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, but the feature's not implemented yet, and it won't be implemented until the end of the year.
Well, that doesn't matter. It's got it. That's the important thing.
Yeah, Apple really. Here's my rant. So I've been pretty critical of Apple in the past, but typically they deliver on what they talk about. The iPhone 6 and the 6S, the original 6 and 6S, were fantastic phones coming from the 5. They were trying to make a phone similar size to the Note, something like that, and I think they did a pretty bang up job. It was a nice phone, but this 7 is there is absolutely nothing new on it. I mean, except for them getting rid of the headphone jack and introducing a new, a little faster of a processor. It was a very, very lackluster upgrade. And I think, I mean, the phone is already out. I'm not sure if you guys know that, but the phone is already out. And I haven't seen the hype yet about people freaking out about getting these phones.
Well, it's out, but they ran out of stock already, so they've got a delay in delivering them.
But typically, you see people, or
they only made 500 of each. So
yeah, you're right.
Trying to sell any.
It could be they engineered the shortage too to build hype.
I think they do that
look,
every year.
It's so popular, we ran out.
Yeah.
So, back to Samsung. HP has agreed to a deal with Samsung to acquire their printer business for $1.05 billion. A deal that will be the largest print acquisition in HP's history. That's from USA Today. The acquisition of Samsung's printer business allows us to deliver print innovation and create entirely new business opportunities with far better efficiency, security, and economics for customers. That's what HP CEO said. The Samsung deal would give HP access to 6,500 printing patents, as well as 1,300 researchers and engineers with advanced expertise in laser printer technology. I'm not following how HP is doing these days business-wise, and I'm wondering if anybody has any
I've got
comments.
some insight.
Yeah.
What? I've got. So you said Samsung sold the business to HP for $1 billion.
Their printer business.
They need to sell about 22 more of them to make up for the lost equity around the Note. So, maybe they've got some other deals in the works.
Now.
All right.
It's just interesting that wasn't the Samsung Color Laser one of the cheaper ones that we were talking about here, Spence?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I've got a Samsung.
It still didn't compete with the Dell, and I'm not sure who makes the Dell.
I think, doesn't Epson make the Dells?
Lexmark.
Lexmark makes the Dell?
Yeah. I mean, that's who was making them for. That's who was making printers for Dell. I don't know if the color laser is in the same boat.
It looks like it. I mean, it's got the same. Everything about the Dell printers was always compact and small.
So did you connect it?
Oh yeah, it's running. Yep.
And you hate it.
It was a little wonky getting it to work on Windows 10.
Oh, it was wonky to get it to work on Windows, period, because of their installer.
Yes, the installer sucks.
It's
very confusing.
Yeah.
And you go in and you try to do the Wi-Fi setup, for example. And said, well, you know what? I'm going to set up a permanent address in DHCP, and I got it to work, but I kept getting an error saying IP address, invalid IP address. What? Wait a second. And finally I just said, well, forget about that, and I went back, and sure enough, it was working. It just never actually told me it was.
Yeah, I had to do the USB installer and then set it up, because even when I was telling it to do the Wi-Fi, it wanted me to connect the USB. It was weird. and it went around and around and around. So
I've got a question.
Yeah.
Why is it that printers are still such a pain in the butt to install and to set up? Why is it that like this stuff has not been it's not been streamlined? I mean, what the hell?
Well, they should, if they're using web services and they know what they're doing, it's usually pretty easy. But you've got companies that have old technology printer drivers out there. You look at the Brother installers, and you're looking at what looks like something out of the 90s from a look and feel perspective. The drivers just are old. And
when I got my I got like the Brother 212 or something like that, like a year and a half ago, and I had to set it up with cups because it doesn't have wireless built in. What an absolute pain to try to find. I'm using Japanese, some knockoff Japanese brand that is like Brother. I'm using their drivers to print because Brother doesn't have the Brother drivers don't work with cups. So it's just, it's just an absolute disaster, and that doesn't make any sense. Like, why has somebody not just mainstreamed printer drivers or something?
Yeah, just like USB drive, right?
Exactly, you would think.
Hey, I have a question.
It's all secret, don't they? They want to keep it all to themselves. We're the only ones that make the drivers. We're the only ones that make the ink. You can only buy it from us.
Yeah, but it's not. But it's not like you are tied down and they're making money because you're downloading the driver. The driver is all over. It's not like they're keeping it secret. I mean, what's the big deal? You would still buy the printer from them. You could still go and get something that people say is good. Have you ever made a decision to get a printer because of the driver?
No.
No. It's it would be nice if you can just plug it in and it works. And that is Nick, in many cases that is the way it works. Remember
I'm not talking about plug-in. Plugging it in via USB is fine. It's when you get to wireless, dealing with the drivers is a real issue. Not as much on USB.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'm going to drop and come back in with the toolbar loaded.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So yeah, that tends to be my issue, Amnon, is that when you're setting up a wireless printer, it doesn't. The drivers just aren't. They're just not. They're just not there, and you got to pick a printer that's similar to the one you're trying to use.
With the Wi-Fi, it's different. That's right.
And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why has this not been streamlined? Why Wi-Fi is not a new technology? I mean, how long has people been using wireless in houses? Probably close to 10 years now, right?
Wireless has been around longer than that.
No, but I'm saying like most people having it in their house, probably 10 or so years, maybe a little longer, 15. You know, it's not new, so why have we not figured it out? It's the same. It just doesn't make any sense. Wireless printing is it's not even worth it. It is easier for you to just walk a laptop down to the printer and plug it in than it is to try to set it up to work on.
I've got three printers now running on wireless, and one is USB connected and Ethernet connected simultaneously, so I don't have to worry about when I use it as a scanner, so I leave it USB connected.
And typically the problem is when the power goes out or something and they get reset.
Yeah,
that's when the issue comes up.
I haven't had any real problems with it. Occasionally I'll get some. I came in to my office this morning and I set up and I had, of all things, when I started my machine, my Western Digital cloud drive was inaccessible. And what caused that? I don't know. But I just had to restart it. Now it's there. So it's...
I'm not a programmer, but isn't the Wi-Fi protocol standard by now?
Yeah, well, it is standard, and it's
okay. You should be able to just. What happened?
It's the stream went down.
Yeah, and it looks like it
Offline.
is...
Keep rolling. The show gets recorded. Let's
yeah,
keep going.
I know, but it looks
Yeah,
like...
it doesn't make any sense to why. So, like you said, Amnon, Wi-Fi is a standard. It's regulated by God, who regulates it, Spence?
IEEE.
Yeah, IEEE regulates Wi-Fi. It just it's
And the FCC.
Specifically HP. I don't know what kind of printers you have, but the HP ones are absolute garbage when it comes to Wi-Fi. They do not work. They don't work. Flat out, they don't work. They just, no matter what you do, you can set up DHCP, you leave the printer on all the time, you go to print, it says printing, nothing happens.
Now, maybe the reason why I don't have an issue is that I have all my printers are set up with permanent addresses.
Yeah.
So if they go away, come back, they always get the same IP address, so I don't have to worry about renegotiating web services or whatever. So most of my printers are set up now with web services, so I don't have to worry about reconnecting.
What printers do you have? What brands?
I've got an older Brother multifunction. I've got a couple years old Brother high-end duplex wireless. I can get you the model numbers. I don't know. I got the new Dell color laser, and I have an HP Envy 5660.
Okay. Well, for most of the part, those are a little more than consumer printers, right? Those are like the next tier up from just regular consumer printers.
Yeah, I would say so. Especially the Brother duplex. It was one of the first. It cost back when I got it was almost $300.
Yeah, so I mean that's that's where the difference is. It seems like in these cheaper printers, the regular HP ones you get at Walmart for $150, just doesn't. Personally, it doesn't seem like HP cares to even. Because I remember when we got this printer like a year and a half ago, I was complaining on Twitter about it, and I had a few people say, yeah, I've got the exact same thing with HP. It's the exact same thing. So,
yeah, I did notice that with HP, with the inexpensive ones. Brother inexpensive ones with Wi-Fi tend to work, and their configuration on printer configuration has gotten a lot easier, which was good. It used to be this unbelievably excruciating process to try to configure the Wi-Fi, especially if you have a long key, which I do have a very long key. So I was going to do it from the screen of the Dell, and I said, no, I'll be here an hour. So that's why I loaded the configuration app.
Yeah. So
I have a question about the Hangout Toolbox.
Are you in the old version of Hangouts?
No, it's got the version 2 is out there, and it looks like it works. But the way to get it is you go to the hangouttoolbox.com site, and you click. It says opens a new tab and starts the Hangout loading the app. I did that, and I had the toolbar, and I said, well, I can't. It's not on the current Hangout that I'm in, so I cut and pasted the link to the Hangout to the new window, started up the Hangout again, and no toolbox. Now there isn't a way. It doesn't actually say here how to download it.
Yeah, I'm
to
not
install
sure.
it. So it's there, but every time you have to go to this page. Oh, here's an install button. I take it back. I didn't see that.
I didn't even know there were plugins in the new Hangout.
Well, let's see if it's a share print. No, see, it started. I just did it, and it opened a new Hangout. Same way as it did before. So you are the first one to put out. Here's your permanent link to this Hangout. It doesn't make any sense. And the toolbox is running in this one, but it is not running in the window I was in.
Very interesting.
And you're going to the toolbox for
lower third.
Yeah, I don't have
and
any.
There's some new things they put in there. It's that I wanted to play with, and I just can't get it to. Maybe I need to restart Chrome. That could be it.
It seems like I remember from the early days.
Look at my add-ins and see if it's there.
I remember from the early days with Hangouts, the toolbox was always kind of problematic with the lower thirds were always sort of problematic.
I'm going in and I'm going through the web store to see if I can install it now from there. So.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Amazon. Amazon plans to open as many as 100 retail stores in shopping malls by the end of next year, according to Business Insider. The 300 to 500 square foot stores, I mean, that's going to be more like a booth, will sell familiar Amazon hardware products like Kindles and Fire TV. But the broader goal is to drive more traffic to Amazon's online stores, as these devices make it easier to purchase items there, and to promote Amazon's Echo personal assistant. Amazon stores have already quietly opened in 12 states, including 6 stores in California, and more stores in New York, Texas, Virginia, and Massachusetts. But now, the brick-and-mortar stores have emerged from the test phase with a goal to expand and grow, according to one Amazon job posting. And Business Insider report that new Amazon stores are popping up almost every week in shopping malls across the country. Anybody seen an Amazon store? Anybody been to one?
And I wonder if how popular the model's going to be. I don't want to go to a store. I don't care. I do it all from home.
Yeah, I know, but it's interesting that they're going that route, and they are the ones who actually started that. Just buy it online. Don't need a brick and mortar. And
They've
now
got to be targeting the individuals that aren't common Amazon users.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
which is fine, fair play to them. Whether it'll pay off or not, we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, 500 square feet. It's really, there's nothing to it.
Well, it's obviously not a showroom then.
I don't know where in what mall do you see a 500 square foot store? I mean,
you could. That it is small. I mean, it's hard to think that they would actually have a space that small in a mall. Oh. They'd want you to have
Steve.
Rent more. Yeah.
The UK government's digital economy bill has moved a step closer to becoming a law after its second reading in Parliament with unanimous support. The current 2-year maximum custodial sentence for online piracy is almost certain to increase to a decade. 10 years if you're pirating stuff.
Yep. And there is a caveat to that
yeah.
And that is if you're doing it for profit. But whether that means, you've got adverts on your site, therefore you're making profit, so we're going to, or on your page, whatever it might be. For the average, they're saying for the average user that, perchance accidentally downloads a copyrighted movie or a copyrighted album, something like that, there won't be a problem. But if they're making profit at it, then, but the thing is, they determine who's they think are making profit. It isn't, written in stone that this means making profit, this doesn't. It's in their determination for each individual person, which is terrible. 10 years for downloading a movie.
I know. I mean, it's sort of like
crazy.
It's like they're trying to scare people. I mean,
yeah,
to
that's
scare
what it is.
them
It's
shitless, kind of.
And the politicians have been saying we need to make this a big deterrent. But, you're making it a big deterrent, but who's going to hear about it? If you're making it a big deterrent that everyone then sees or hears about and thinks, oh gosh, we better not do that, but it's not going to happen, is it? So there's no deterrent apart from the one person that's going to get done for it.
It sounds like the bucket of excrement that RIAA stepped into years ago when they just could not get ahead of the whole issue with downloading music, and were always considered to be the bad guy. And they could have done something very magnanimous and gotten everybody on their side and understand and educate people, but they just played the bad guy.
Yeah, they put their boot in and then twisted it, and it backfired on them. And it's going to do the same for the movie industry. They're never ever going to. It's like with drugs. You're never going to stop drugs. You're never going to stop piracy.
It's interesting that the government has the time to do that.
Yeah, it does make you wonder, what about the more important things in life, like people on the streets, homeless? Yep. But it just goes down to the fact that there's so much money being played in by the entertainment industries into getting their way. It's scary, the amount of money that they're plowing into that. Well, and it does draw the question, what's in it for the politician because they're backing it? Or what's happened behind the scenes that have made you so adamant that you must push this through?
How do people in the UK? What do people in the UK think about this? I mean, do people complain? Do people say,
no.
"Yeah, good for you"?
No, there's. I've noticed a few. I haven't seen any local or in the UK news reports from any blogs and things like that. I subscribe to Tech Dirt, which is an American one, and they've brought up their views on it and how wrong they think it is, and various reasons and things that could be done instead. But as far as stuff in the UK, no, it's all quiet, and it's done like late on a Friday night, so that nobody knows about it. There's no major outlash or backlash about it at all. It's just like, oh well, it's just another thing. Let it go. I mean, I'm fuming about it, but that's just me. Nothing I can do to stop it.
No, come on, they're not going to be able to enforce this. 10 years.
They will. They will. It's on its second reading. All it's got to do is go through the House of Lords now, and it's law.
No, but I mean, I know. But do you really think they'll put the effort into actually enforcing the law?
Well, that it's like so many new laws and so many law changes that happen nowadays. It's very ambiguous the way that it's worded. To the person that is aggrieved, they can view it as being as severe as they possibly want it to be, and everyone listens to them and thinks, oh, it must be that bad. They don't actually check for themselves to think, well, in reality, this is just one person's downloaded this file, and you're going to throw the book at him and chuck him in jail for 10 years.
Yeah, I don't see this actually being enforced.
I can see it being enforced quite severely for the first few months.
One thing you guys are missing is that the guy who goes to prison for 10 years will have access to all the movies he wants for free. He gets free cable, free Netflix, free Hulu. Think about it, right?
It's like the old thing that they always say, reasonable force. But who determines reasonable force? Well, who makes the decision that reasonable means this much, not that much, not that much? This much. It's open to interpretation, and that is a terrible way to write a law.
Terrible. All right, let's see who's online. Who's calling in?
This is Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah, I had a little quick question.
Okay.
And I know nobody will be able to answer it, but sometimes 3/4 of the time when I go to print out something, I've got two brother printers, and when I go to print out something, my wife says that it comes out, some of the stuff's on the 1/4 of the page, some of it's hanging off on the right side, then some at the bottom. It comes out disjointed. Have you ever had a problem like that, or what would cause it?
In the old days, that meant that you didn't have enough memory.
Yeah, but now it's like
I know.
you were using the wrong version of PostScript or something that would cause an error. But now it's like Larry, when we set those up, we're using the latest Brother drivers with what they call web services.
Right.
Which is really, I mean, it should not, I haven't seen an issue with formatting. And these are from the Windows 10 machines?
Well, one of them set up on the Windows 10, but the other one's still set up on the older
XP.
printer set up on the XP.
Yeah.
The
And
XP
both of them
laptop.
were doing the same thing?
Yeah.
And was it just one of the printers?
No, both of them. The one that printer I got in my office is like only less than 6 months old.
Yeah.
And
Was there any common thread? Was it the same document, or was it the same web page?
Well, no, because it was one thing I was going to print out about a month ago, and it came out. It even came out like small. Instead of being a full-page print, it came out maybe a half a page. Everything was shrunk down. But I printed it on the other printer, and it came out correctly. But then sometimes she'll be printing something from the internet. She might print from two different places and it come out right, but then go to another site and it comes out all jumbled like that. So it's not like it's consistent.
It's got to be some common denominator, though, somewhere.
Right.
In what something is causing the formatting to get whacked. I just wonder if it's a printer issue, if it's a driver issue. If it's both printers, then I doubt it's an individual printer issue. And they're both, the drivers for those are very similar. I remember when we installed one, there was no driver for Windows 10 yet for the new one, I think, and we used an older driver. Same printer, but like an earlier generation.
But it was working.
But it was working. Yeah, the test page printed okay.
Because the older printer, the 2280, that one it was hooked up on the XP. Yes.
Larry, is it every time you print it does it like this, or only certain things?
Well, it doesn't have to be that it's all from the internet. I had an article or something.
Yeah, no. You don't understand my question. Is every time you print, it makes it all screwed up, or only occasionally when? Here's a better question: is it always like that?
Not always.
Okay, so now when it does do it, are you printing just text, or are you printing images?
It's sometimes she might be getting some text, like she's getting some medical document. But I have sent just text, like I might type something on my computer, send it wirelessly to her printer, and it'll come out screwed up. But if I turn around and print it on my printer, it'll be right. So it's the same document. But then again, hers, she could be printing stuff out from the internet or print out emails, and it'll come out correctly, and the next day it'll come out screwed up. So it's not like it's a certain item or something from certain place.
How often is that printer and computer get rebooted?
Oh, every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yep.
Did you try to? You cannot really reinstall it yourself.
Well, no. But I had an expert install it, so.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it could. I mean, drivers sometimes do get clobbered,
right,
and mess up, and you have to reinstall it.
Right.
Spence had to step out for a second, so he's not listening on this, but maybe he'll have time to drop by and do it again.
Yeah, so he didn't get to hear me brag on him that he was the expert.
Andrew's saying format the computer and throw the printer in the trash. Go buy a new one. I'm willing to bet $100 that it works.
Right. Oh, mercy.
Yeah. But that's the only times that I've seen this is when there was not enough memory in the machine, which doesn't happen these days. Again, there are other things as far as printing directly to the printer versus printing it to a buffer and then printing to the printer. But I mean, each one is sort of like different. Each printer here, we go again to what Nick was talking about. Why can't things be just standard on printers?
Right.
I think you need Spence to pay you another visit.
Yeah, he have to come by and work on it.
Yeah.
But one thing about it, he always has his hammer with him, so he can he can fix it.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight?
No, the only thing I could think of is most printers have got a fit-to-page function on them. Have you tried clicking on fit-to-page and seeing if that solves the issue?
Yeah, I tried that, but it made no difference.
I find that when I've used fit-to-page, it's printed the thing out so small you can't read it.
Right. That's another thing. What causes some, and there's probably no answer for it, what causes some websites that if you go to them, it automatically prints smaller, seems like. Just the way they got their...
it depends on the resolution and the size of the website width, isn't it? Because in the old days, it was all 1024 by 768. Nowadays, people are formatting their web pages much, much wider because people have got better resolutions on their screens.
Okay. And it's no way to alter that before you print it?
Not really, no, because you've only got as much space as the width of the paper.
Right.
Unless you print it landscaped, in which case it'll come up over two pages.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm joining a conversation late again. I had to step away.
Yeah,
for a second.
you may need. We were talking about you, and you may need to go by there and maybe reinstall the driver and see.
Well, the other thing I'm thinking is to cycle the printer, because there may have been.
Well,
there is such a thing as a corrupt packet.
He's saying that he's doing it daily.
Oh yes, okay.
But I did brag on you and say that the expert was the one that installed these. So.
Yeah, right. The expert is the guy that's like 2 minutes ahead of the other guy. That's all. He gets there first. That's all.
Oh man.
Oh well.
All right. Well, be in touch. Get in touch with Spence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're talking.
Number.
We're talking, and we've got the weather
Okay.
is cooling down. I can go over there and resume some of the outside work. So.
All right.
All right, Larry. Thanks for calling me.
Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Larry.
Take care.
Bye.
Hi, Larry. Yeah,
Hey,
going back
Scott.
to that copyright thing, if I may, or do you want to finish that one off?
Oh no, I was just saying he's got. It's weird that he's got this issue because the one printer's brand new, the other one is just a year old. And if it's doing the same thing from two different machines, one is Win 10 and one is XP,
That is weird.
There's a ghost somewhere.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the wording of the law is all to do with the copyright. I can't remember what it's called now. The Copyright Act 1988, and they're actually changing 2A, which is a problem I experienced some time ago. Anyway, they're changing it to a person who infringes copyright in a work by communicating the work to the public commits an offence if the person knows or has reason to believe that they are infringing copyright in the work, and either intends to make a gain for themselves or another person, or knows or has reason to believe that communicating the work to the public will cause loss to the owner of the copyright, or will expose the owner of the copyright to a risk or loss. What? I mean, how? Give me strength.
Yeah, attorneys are going to make.
Old one.
Attorneys.
The
are
old
gonna...
one was bad enough, but you could look at it and think, well, yeah, they could mean this. Actually, there's two ways of looking at this, but there's about 22 ways of looking at that.
Yeah, that's how attorneys make money.
I mean, you've got a catch-all situation there, whereas, well, no matter what you've done, we can catch you on that one, or those three words together can mean what you just did.
Yep.
What? Oh, it makes me so cross.
Spence?
Amnon.
You want to do the special?
I'm actually getting ready to do it right now.
I'm sat on the edge of my seat. I can hardly wait.
It's just, every week it just gets better and better.
All right.
Not because of me, just because it gets better on its own.
I wonder what
right.
quirky things you've picked out for this week.
That's a not
go for it.
Go high on the quirky scale, but I try. Did find one new interesting product with an interesting name, so we'll see. All right, let me get this to where I can actually see it and not be looking down and to the left without at the same time.
No,
I'm trying. All right, there we go. Okay, so Computers 2K Now specials for September 18th, 2016. And as we always do, we start with our friends at Staples, who I have a little complaint about is that for some reason when they shipped this printer that I had, they demanded a signature, and that created a little bit of a kerfuffle for me here. I have an online, or I have a blanket agreement with FedEx that things just get delivered. But in this case, a signature was required. However, I could do a voucher on the door, so that was good, because I don't know, otherwise I was going to have to go pick it up. Okay. Staples has a few good deals on some computers. They've got a Dell Inspiron 15.6-inch machine with a 1 terabyte, 6 gig of RAM, $299. And now they're doing this trade-in thing, and they don't show the price on sale. They show it with the trade-in in today's ad anyway. But you can save $200 if you have a trade-in. So a trade-in is probably going to have to be a laptop that boots up. You can see the screen and so on. And we'll have to have probably a relatively recent operating system on it. But many people have those. Don't necessarily have to be broken. But $299 after trade-in. A Dell 3650 desktop computer, Core i5, $399 after trade-in. HP 27-inch LED monitor for $179. That's $70 off the regular price. Logitech K350 curved full-size wireless keyboard for $39.99. That's $20 off. HP Pavilion 15.6-inch Core i7 for $499. That's $280 off if you have a trade-in.
Good price.
That's a heck of a deal. 64 gig PNY USB 3.0 flash drive for $18.99. Save $21. Seagate Backup Plus Slim portable hard drive, 1 terabyte, as usual. I mention this every week. I know it gets redundant, but buy a backup drive, $59. Back your stuff up. I'm starting to use Crash Plan again as an additional backup, because my Mac, for some reason, the network drive I have, the Time Machine keeps saying that it has verified my drive and I need to do a new backup. And this is happening every week. And it takes several days over the network unless I bring my machine upstairs and plug it directly into the same Ethernet switch. It takes forever to do the backup. So something is wrong, and it's a known issue with Time Machine. So I decided to use Crash Plan instead. And it's doing the same thing to the same drive. The only issue I have there is just making sure I'm connected to the machine if I reboot.
Do you have something on your side that tells you how big that drive is?
How big the drive is?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not a size issue. It's I got plenty of space left on the
No,
drive.
no. I'm talking about the one that's in the specials.
Oh no! It's the $59. Is the 1 terabyte.
Okay.
It's from the price. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the ads. You have to click on the ad. I'm showing the very minimum.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Of what's available there.
Okay,
So
go on. Sorry.
That's why you need me to read this, because otherwise you wouldn't know. So that's my I have built-in job protection by leaving questions open. That's the way you do it, right? Up to $40 off on trade-in for Netgear and Linksys. How do you trade in? That's an interesting thing. I mean, this could work for you. You just have to look at it. But this whole trade-in thing is a little mysterious. Epson Expression Home XP 430 small-in-one inkjet for $59. That's 40 off. This, for some reason, Brother has the same form factor. This is probably the other one that they have on sale for $59 is the non-network, non-duplex machine. But this one is the networked machine with duplex and wireless for $59. That is a great price. Normally, this is $99. This is the L2360DW. A good price. It says 30 off. I somehow think that number's not right, but I looked through the ads and that's what it said. And here's the new product that I stumbled across here called the Guardzilla Outdoor Wireless HD Camera. What's interesting about this is that if you subscribe, you can actually get recording, cloud recording. But for $99, it has motion detection, night vision. It will send an alert to your phone, and you can move it around. It's installed outside. I believe, I'm not sure if this is the one that has two power modes. You can either plug it into power or you can run it on batteries. So check this one out. For $99 is a really good deal.
An unusual shape as well, isn't it?
It is an unusual shape. Yep. That's why I saw this and I said, something new. Hadn't heard of this one before. All that's at Staples. Going on to Best Buy, they've got for $229. This is a great deal on an Asus 15.6-inch laptop. It's got the new Intel Pentium N3700, which is a 4-core processor. $229, say $50. Netgear dual band router with DOCSIS 3.0 cable modem, $109.99. If you like simplicity and you don't want to have two devices, you want to have your cable modem and your access point access point router in one device. This is a great price, $20 off. This is a 300 plus megabit maximum. It's an 8-channel, 8-band cable modem. So be aware that if you have turbo up there and you can get faster speeds, this will limit you. But if you have the lower speed service, this will definitely do the trick. The same thing with this Aris surfboard. This model is also an 8-band, 8-channel version for $69.99, but a good price. Asus Flip. This is a touchscreen Chromebook. I haven't seen many Chromebook touchscreen machines before. And it does come with a Rockchip quad-core processor for $229, save $20. HP 15.6-inch touchscreen laptop with an AMD A10 for $349.99. Logitech K480 Bluetooth multi-device keyboard. A handy device, especially if you want to have one keyboard and to switch between multiple mobile devices. And I believe this has a switch on it that will let you select 2 or 3 devices without having to reconfigure, which is kind of cool. $24.99, save $25. It's half off.
Those keys look awfully close together.
It looks like a laptop keyboard.
It does. Yeah, it's probably form factor from a laptop, but I haven't held it in my hand. But with all the Bluetooth devices we have, it could be handy. SanDisk Ultra 960 gigabyte. Sorry, I just had a note placed on my desk. I had to read it first here. But SanDisk 960 solid state drive, $249.99, save $150. An Acer 23-inch LED monitor for $109, save $70. Square is a company that provides credit card processing services. I have the Square device that I use for my company. And when they first came out with the contactless and chip reader versions of their device, it was quite expensive. But now the prices come down, and now you get it for $40, save 10. And this supports all three modes. It does contactless like Apple Pay, it does the chip reader version, and it also does sliding. So this is a good alternative if you need it. I mean, I don't use it yet. I think I've only processed 3 credit card transactions in the entire time I've used mine. Most people pay me by check, but it's out there.
Yep.
And finally, we've got 3 versions of PNY USB drives: 16 gig for $5.99, 128 gig for $27.99, and 64 gig for $14.99. These are all USB 3.0 speed. So another form of backup that could be worth it to you if your cloud drive or something else goes out. If you have some critical documents, make another copy of it just for fun. Okay, that's all at Best Buy. Heading into Office Depot, Office Max, we've got a couple good deals out there. Brother Laser all-in-one printer. Because this is a printer, scanner, fax, copier, the price of this is very good. I think I mentioned sometimes one that looks just like this, but does not have the document feeder on it, and I think it's especially useful, even if you're not using it as a fax machine, to have a scanner with a feeder.
Mm-hmm.
I scan in documents on a regular basis, receipts or other things to put into documentation for customers, and it's very handy. I have the older version of this printer. It looks the same from the front, pretty much, but it is an older version. $149, which is $50 off. Logitech Wireless Wave Combo MK550 keyboard and mouse. This is the multimedia keyboard. $44.99, save $35. You may have to search. This is not from the ad at Office Depot. This is drilling into their online catalog there. So you may have to look around to find these things on sale, but they are there. SanDisk Ultra Plus 32 gig micro SD card, I should say, for $17.99, save $22. All of the Lexar jump drives are on sale. This is the 32 gig version for $8.99. You can get the color of your choice. So amazing. And finally, this is an expensive device, but this could really be handy. I mean, in a studio environment, this is a 4x4 HDMI matrix, switch matrix, that'll allow you to take 4 inputs and send them to 4 different outputs and switch them on the fly. Supports 4K and 2K, which is pretty amazing. It's $89 off. It's normally $678. It's for $589. If you need something like this, it really can help save you trouble and time and issues and so on switching.
This is at Office Depot?
Office Depot has a lot of stuff in technology.
Okay.
They really have. I mean, you have to go to their webpage, and then you have to click on technology, and then they'll give you a whole breakdown. You can go into, I would like to see thin clients. I would like to see, RAID enclosures and all that, and they'll take you right into it and have it all.
Interesting.
Not in the stores. It's all in their online back end. Some unusual stuff. That's at Office Depot, Office Max, and finally we got a couple of things at Newegg. And carrying on from last week where we had the enclosures for hot swap, solid state drive, hard disk drive, 2.5 inch. This is a really good price. It's not a 6-way, it's a 4-way. It's a single 5.25 inch slot on a desktop machine, but it supports 4 2.5 inch SATA drives. $14.99. 67% off. I don't know what the regular price was with free shipping. So if you're looking to build, whether it's just a way to put 4 drives in a machine that doesn't have the space for it, because each 2.5 inch drive, unless it has a slot specifically designed for 2.5 inch, will take up a 3.5 inch drive slot. So this is a great way to get a lot of drives in a small space.
$15.
$15. And then here's a couple of products from a company called Enviz, which I've never heard of before, but I was impressed with their product line. This first one is a kind of an entry-level product, but it's a Wi-Fi security camera with motion detection, night vision, and you can get a special offer for 12-month cloud storage with 7-day playback for $69.99, $30 off, and take a look at this camera. I mean, just look at the features. If you have a specific need, I know in our neighborhood there were some cars being broken into, and this would have been a good thing to, even if it was a temporary thing, just attach it outside to watch with the motion detection and recording. But they also make enhanced systems, larger systems. They have two below here. I've got one which is a standard cable attached 6-camera, 8-channel system. It's a little on the expensive side. So this is actually, I said standard cabling. That's the other one. This was a PoE. This is a IP camera phones, IP cameras with power over Ethernet. So you have to connect it to an injector, but if you have a PoE switch. But for $699, 8-channel with 6 cameras, 2 terabyte hard drive, nice setup. And also they've got the more conventional one that's got the standard cabling with power injector, single cable going out to the weatherproof cameras for $399. But worth a look. eViz. I'm gonna check them out. I'm gonna be buying something. I'm not sure what yet.
But it's EasyViz.
EasyViz.
I'm sorry.
EasyViz.
eViz. Yeah. EasyViz.
EasyViz, probably, knowing the Americans.
Yeah.
Easy.
EasyViz. That's
Well,
it.
thanks,
EasyViz.
Spence.
And that's it for today.
That 6-camera, 8-channel one was $1,300, so it's now $699. That's a good saving on that.
And it could be that most people look at it and go, power over PoE, what's that? And don't know how to deal with it. But it actually does make it pretty simple. You just have to run one.
Yes, it does.
Cat 5, Cat 6 cable, and it will power it. And it probably has a weatherproof connector associated with it, so you can put it outside, or a lead on it. Not sure. I have to look at the background of it. But interesting stuff.
Yes.
I'll have to go out and get myself something that's worth the money so I can put a camera to protect it.
Yeah. Yeah. I set up a camera system to protect my wireless cameras. Yep. Because people were stealing my wireless camera. Oh, well.
All right. Okay.
Earlier, Charles typed in the chat, anybody ever had a USB drive that intermittently has its files not seen by more than one PC, and yet if you later plug it in, the PC sees the files fine? I've got a problem with one particular USB thumb drive. It's an 8-gigabyte Kingston one. I can't remember if you just hang on a second, I'll see if I can squidge over there and grab it and see what model it is. Hang on a sec.
I had an issue. I still have the issue with a machine that was Windows 7.
It is puts his headphones back on. A Data Traveler.
And
Is the model number, and that does exactly the same thing. And I was thinking, this is really weird. You plug it in 1 minute and it sees the files, and then it's like a whole folder is missing. It was there just now when I plugged it in last time. It was there. Why is it not there now? No idea why it's doing it. But yes, Charles.
then you unplug it, plug it back, and it sees it.
Yeah, sometimes you can plug it back in. Nope. You reboot the computer, plug it back in. Nope. And yet the next time you power up and put it in, it's there. There's no rhyme nor reason to it. It's just like, no, I don't feel like showing you this time.
It's the Chinese translator built into it that translates the English commands to Chinese. That's the problem.
Well, I did order another one. It's the Data Traveler 100G3. It's a USB 3 one. I did order another one because it was really cheap. And I'm going to try and make an identical one with the stuff that's on this already, but make it fresh and make it new and all springy in flowers and stuff. and I'll try it and see if it does exactly the same on the new drive. And if it does, then there's obviously a problem with them.
I have a problem with the machine. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. It's running Windows 10 now, but it was a Dell laptop, and I would get this weird issue where I would take a folder from one window and drag it into another to move the files or move the folder over, and it would still be there. Wouldn't see anything. But if I clicked on the other location, the folder was there, and I will go back, and I'd still see the folder there. And if I clicked on it, it said this file location is invalid. So it moved the file, it moved the pointers to the file, but the visual part of it didn't change. So if I refreshed it, went up and said view refresh, it would go away. So I've got to believe it's a Visual Basic issue. That it's funny how it moved over from Windows 7 to Windows 10.
I've had it before.
It's less frequent, but it still does it.
You were saying, Steve?
I use a program called Directory Opus, which is a very good program. It's a two-paneled file explorer, if you like, with a humongous amount of various facilities, features, and functions in it. That it was beyond belief that you can do what you can do in it. And I've used it for several years now. It's ideal if you're moving stuff from one drive to another or one folder to another and renaming and stuff like that. But what I do find is if I'm trying to move a folder from Directory Opus into File Explorer, for some unknown reason I may want to do that, when you drag and drop and click that you want to move it, nothing happens. It won't do it. But if you cut and paste into File Explorer, it works fine. But not the move function. That's happens through Windows 7 to Windows 10 to Windows Anniversary. So it's an ongoing problem that there's no rhyme or reason for. I have all these things that have no rhyme or reason. It really drives me crazy.
Well,
it's my
the
punishment.
reason for that is because Directory Opus comes from an outfit called Dopus. That's why.
Yeah, Dopus. That's what I've called it in the File Explorer, Dopus. It's actually it's a good program if you're into doing lots of file maneuverings and moving them around and stuff. It really is a good program. I've had it since version 6.
Okay.
That's my pick for the day, by the way.
Oh, picks of the day. Oh, jeez.
As I didn't have one, that's it now.
I hope Nick is not here and he's not hearing me saying, "Oh shoot."
Now.
Beginning tomorrow.
So we're not doing picks then? Is that? I mean, I don't even know. We're not doing it.
Yes,
I don't even know why we bother.
No.
Then let's do it now. Steve just did his pick. Why would we move on?
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right. Let's see. Spence, I can get up and try and figure out something real quick.
I have something.
Good Lord. All right. And Steve, could you throw a link in chat, please?
No. Yes, I've just done that.
Hey. Oh, you did? Okay, thank you. What's up, Spence? What do you got?
I'd like the Guardzilla video camera that I mentioned earlier. I'll put the link up there, but just for the price and the features, something simple, kind of a tack-up camera. Use it for a specific need, or install it permanently. It's got great features for the price.
Right. Give me a second here, and I'll do my not pick. I have a not pick this week.
That's not then.
It's not. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So I use this. This is more of a rant than it is a not pick, but I kind of do a PSA. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to free apps on the App Store. I have been using, and I've recommended an app called Cloud Magic, which is on iOS and Android for probably about 2 or 3 years now. I've been using it. I've been recommending this app. And everything is hunky-dory. Everything is great until yesterday when I wake up and the icon is changed, and so is the name. Okay, fine, whatever. They changed the name of the app. And then I go to open my email app, and I am told that the app now costs $50 a year to use, and I can't sign in and get all of my emails off.
What?
So
That's reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah, it's reasonable. So if you go on your app store and search up Cloud Magic, you'll find this new app called Newton, which now has terrible reviews, as they updated with no notice and now charge you $50 a year to use the app. So from free to paid yearly with absolutely no notice. So you can just you can imagine and I still don't have a new email client because I had like 15 or 20 emails linked on my phone, and now I've got to find a new client and set them all up again. So I'm beyond pissed. That's kind of that's the moral of the story.
That's despicable.
Yeah, it is. It is. This company, I hope this company goes out of business. I hope they have to fire everyone that works for them because they are just garbage people. That is just absolutely no.
It's a dirty trick, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the old bait and switch, literally to the exact definition of the bait and switch. I mean, there were great app, rave reviews. When you search for email on the iOS App Store, it was the first app that came up. And now, if we look at the most recent version, search for Cloud Magic. The most recent version now has 1,000 one-star reviews. So it is tanking.
Well, thank you for that, Nick.
Yeah, so it's not really even a pick as much as it's just yeah, exactly. Be careful with free apps, and I mean, I guess have a contingency plan. If anybody has can recommend a good email client for iOS besides Mail, that would be great. If anybody has a recommendation for that they like and use, there's a few apps on there, but no, I haven't heard any personal recommendations. So that's kind of my pick: is be careful with free apps because this company is really scummy, really scummy.
Well, they didn't have a good
thing.
Business plan. Didn't work out too well.
Well, and what I saw and what I would have been fine with is if they introduced some new features. I would have been fine if they kept the old version, released a new app, and charged for it. That would have been perfectly fine. But to just kind of throw a paywall on your free app that thousands and thousands of people have installed is kind of a problem.
I wonder what their hit rate was for people who would actually pay up.
I don't think anybody would. I mean, I think it'd be stupid to pay up. There's plenty of free email apps. I don't see why you'd spend $50 a year on a smartphone for email. The app is good, but it's not that good.
Did they wind up, if you didn't pay, was it disabled?
You can't even get into the apps, Spence. You open the app and it just says try now.
That sucks.
That's all. It's just all my I can't even get to my emails.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, pay
Terrible.
$49.99 a year if you'd like to continue. It comes with a free 14-day trial, no strings attached.
Well, take the 14-day trial and get your emails out at least.
Well, I mean, all my emails are POP anyway, or not POP, IMAP. So I don't have anything stored on there. But it's like now I've got to configure a new email client. Emails are a real pain to configure, especially on mobile. So there you go. That was yesterday. I woke up to that. So still haven't installed the new app yet.
And you're still thinking about it?
I'm not thinking about it. I just haven't found the time to go through and configure a bunch of, because I not all my emails are Gmail. I've got some servers that I don't even know the password to the email because I have them set up in clients. So I've got to go and find all that information, which is very unfortunate. Okay. So, there you go.
So it's just me left.
What'd you say?
So it's just me that's left now with.
Yes.
I don't have anything that I can recommend, but
No.
it's a situation that everybody should think about with laser printers. When I went to help Marshall in his office, he had two laser printers that were fairly new, about 2 years old, Lexmarks, that he says were not working. They print like crazy at the office, and he needs something that prints fast and has a lot of paper. So in playing with it here, and it wouldn't work, turned out that it was the drum unit. It's the Lexmark. This Lexmark comes with the toner separate from the drum unit, and you buy both of them. So he had, I was going to go and get a toner cartridge, and I looked, and it was something like $80 some. So, and both these did not have it. So I asked him if they had any other of those printers. He said no. I said, well, how about, do you have any of the cartridges? He said, yeah. I said, well, send me one. Putting that in and fooling around with the printer, found out that there's a way to reset the drum. The drum had black bands on it. And if you ever take out, in most cases, people that have laser printers, and you change the cartridge, in most cases with HP and some of the others, a cartridge has the toner in it and the drum. It's all one unit. That's why they call it the cartridge. So every time you get a new or rebuilt or remanufactured, whatever cartridge, you get a new drum. But when the toner comes separately and the drum is sitting in there and it just fits actually into the carrier, which is the drum unit, that drum is going to reach end of life. And if you have one of those and the drum has black bands on it, either in the middle or on the ends, this drum is gone. So the drum was not that expensive. I think it was $30 some. I ordered one and reset the printer according to, not according to Lexmark, but according to some other people that found a way to do it. And it was working. But then I was looking, and so I told him, I said, yeah, they're fine. And he said, well, maybe we stopped using them because they were using too much toner. So I went and looked, and you need to do the same study. How many pages is the toner cartridge that you're using is rated for, and how much it is? I found out that cartridge that cost $80 some is rated for 3,700 copies at 5% coverage, which is text. The drum was like $40. I looked on my desk, and I'm using an older Brother machine. Oh, and it's 30 pages per minute. So that's pretty good. I looked on my bench, and I'm using a Brother 5250. So I went, looked, and I'm very conscientious about buying toner, and I have no problem buying it on eBay from remanufacturers when it's cheaper. The cartridge for that 5250 is rated for 12,000 copies. The cost of the cartridge on eBay is $18. The cost of the drum is $12. So I called Marshall and I said, Marshall, yeah, it may be. It's not that the printer is using too much toner, but it's that the toner cartridge cannot produce as many pages. And he said he was going to go and look into Brother. And the speed of that one was also 30, the speed of the 5250. So it's a fast printer. Here is Lexmark, next to Brother, produces the same printout, lasts about 3 to 4 times longer on the toner, and cost about a fifth of the price or less. What would you go with? I never really compared it that way in all my life working with laser printers. I never really compared it this way. I like the Brothers, so I buy them, and I buy them used on Craigslist or whenever I need one, because I don't print much. Somebody who prints a lot, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds of pages a day, invoices and so forth, you need to get a good, fast printer. But you need to research it and see which one is going to give you the best return for your money. Here are 2 printers that were real expensive. Oh, yeah, the price of the printer also. The Lexmark was something like $400 and some versus a brand new, the newer model of the same printer that I use that does the same speed and cost is it's $169. So you take 2 good printers and you put them out of circulation because they don't do what you want them to do, but they say, look, this is the most I can do. I mean, give me more toner, I'll work. Give me another drum, I'll work. And they are working. So he decided he's going to put them somewhere where they don't do a lot of printing and look for other printers that will work better. The old printers, I mean, Marshall was always big on Lexmark. And he had, I can't remember the model number, but it was a Lexmark printer that on the top part had 1 ream of paper, and it had an add-on cabinet at the bottom that you could put, I think, 7 or 8 reams of paper. And it will actually lift it automatically, lift up the tray that holds all these papers. So he had to put paper in it, once a week or whatever, and the cartridges would last, obviously. So he thought, here's another commercial one, it's going to be the same. Never looked to see what it's going to give. So look when you buy one and compare it to other ones that may cost maybe a little bit more, maybe a lot less, that will actually give you more yield and save you money. So that's my tip for the day.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, if you do take a look at that Guardzilla camera,
yeah,
I'm even more impressed as I read through the product description here. It's weatherproof, right? It does 720p.
Yeah.
It's wireless. It has night vision sensors, motion sensors, and will do phone alerts, push, text, email, AC or DC, dual power options, AA batteries that they recommend, lithium batteries, or 10-foot power cord, magnetic mount and stand, or screw attached, 100-degree swivel, easy setup, free app, easy installation with the magnet. Cloud storage, free, comes with 2 days of storage for free, 7 days up to 30 days, depending on the how much you store for a fee. Wi-Fi enabled, multi-unit, multi-user solution. The app will control multiple cameras and multiple users. No monthly fee for $99.
There are, Spence, there are a lot of cameras out there these days that are actually, they move around.
Oh, I know. I have
this
one.
Is not, don't let this one is 130-degree lens, which gives you very good angle.
Wide angle. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to move. and you can put it anywhere. I mean, you put a camera that's moving, it's going to create noise that you can hear in the room.
Yes.
Or something is moving. If somebody breaks in and they'll catch it moving if you move it. This one, you can put it somewhere and it would blend into the background and nobody would ever see it, and allow you to see the room real nice. You put it in a corner, you're going to be looking at 90 degrees, right? It's better than 90 degrees.
Yep. Well, just if you have a need for a temporary solution that's easy to deploy, that's what I thought. It was just a really well done. Don't see any ratings on it yet. So
no, you don't see any way to what?
Ratings on it yet.
Oh.
So, but hey,
the price is right. The price is very right.
They do have four. It comes in two different colors, black and white, and they do have a different model. I guess it's not an outdoor weatherproof one. So I didn't look at the detail on that yet. The indoor one, all-in-one security camera, has a built-in siren. So if it watch live video and the person gets a warning.
Well.
That's interesting.
To be truly wireless, John bought a camera to put out in the field, without getting into too many details, and there is no electricity there. It's in the middle of nowhere. And he put the camera there, and I said, yeah, but how long are the batteries going to last? He said, a long time. It's not a video camera. It takes snapshots.
Yeah. That hunters use that to look for.
Yeah. And that works great, because that
trail cam.
It's what?
Trail cam.
Trail cam.
Yeah, like a trail cam. So that's nice, and they are. The only thing he has to do is go there and pull up the SD card, put it in his computer, and see what was going on. But it was cheap. But when you see wireless cameras and you want to have a security system around your house, there is more to it, because you have to bring, if it's video, you have to bring power to that camera.
Yep.
Cameras don't work on air. So at that point, you have to run a cable to it.
Well, yeah, but if it's a PoE camera, you only have to run one cable.
Yeah, but again, you have to run cable to it. That's my point. Yeah, PoE is actually the best way to go about it, because everything is in one cable. And Spence, actually, with that system that you were talking about, you don't need to get a special switch.
No,
you don't need any injectors.
You can get injectors.
You don't.
Why?
Because the DVR provides it.
Oh, I didn't look at the specs.
Yeah, the DVR, when you plug it into the DVR, it is a PoE switch.
Awesome.
On it. So, and the downside of those that come like that, they come with wires already, with cables. And the cables are a certain length. So if you wanted to go a real long run, you have to figure out the pinouts to build your own cable. But it's not rocket science, but it does work.
The indoor version of that camera, the differences are it has the 100 dB siren.
Yeah.
It also has built-in speaker and microphones. You can talk to the intruder, whoever it is. And it says auto arm. Camera can be set to automatically arm when leaving home and disarm when returning. So that's actually handy too. Well, just these things are getting, and this one, video recording option can record up to 5 days of video with a micro SD card. This is the inside version.
Absolutely.
And it supports cloud storage. So these are extremely versatile for the price.
Yep.
Let me see if the outdoor one supports SD.
Does it say anything about whether, after 5 days, does it start? Does it erase the first day? And
it doesn't say. I'd have to read the.
I would
read the,
imagine, but remember those dash cam that we got?
Yeah. As soon as they hit 16 meg or whatever it was,
That's it.
They
They stopped
recording.
Yeah.
That was a major.
Steve, you were saying something?
No, the dog is trying to interact
Okay.
with us today.
All right.
Hello, dog.
Yeah, but those cameras that the dash cams, when they say, you put the SD card in it, no, if it reaches a certain, and that was a big letdown kind of to find out that there are some more expensive ones. They do that. They erase the old and start with the new, and so they always have the latest 5 days, for so to speak. All right.
And that's a lot. If you have notifications
geez.
set up, unless you're away for more than 5 days,
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Because if you're at work that day and you get a notification, you can just go home and look at it, even if it's 2 days.
Yep.
So,
All right. So we heard about it for a long time, and starting tomorrow, Twitter will cut down on exactly which types of content count toward the platform's 140 character limit. Media attachments, images, GIFs, videos, polls, etc., and quoted tweets will no longer reduce the count. So that's nice. The extra room for text will give users more flexibility in composing their messages. Twitter first announced plan to stop counting extras like photos, videos, and user polls toward the limit back in May, but gave no firm date on when the shift would occur. So, starting tomorrow, there is not if you put any kind of URLs are not going to count.
Oh, good.
Yeah, very good.
That's a good thing. You don't want it to take up 140 characters. It's a lot of people do want to put in GIF images and URLs and things like that. Why should it count?
Right.
I deal with that issue every week.
It's a lot of people, yeah, and you try, and this is why people were using the Bitly and all that, but this is great.
About time to.
And listen to this. This is kind of like, it's a down piece of information, but by 2021, robots will have eliminated 6% of all jobs in the U.S., starting with customer service representatives and eventually truck and taxi drivers. That's just one cheery takeaway from a report released by market research company Forrester this week. These robots, or intelligent agents, represent a set of AI-powered systems that can understand human behavior and make decisions on our behalf. Current technologies in this field include virtual assistants like Alexa, Cortana, Siri, and Google Now, as well as chatbots and chatterbaits, Nick, and automated robotic systems. For now,
Oh, you mean like Amazon and Time Warner and stuff?
Nick just caught it.
Chatbot. So, like, are you talking like automated customer support?
Yeah, I say chatbots and chatterbaits.
Oh.
But the next 5 years, they will become much better at making decisions on our behalf in more complex scenarios,
Oh, dear.
which will enable mass adoption of breakthroughs like self-driving cars. The inevitable robot uprising has already started, with at least 45% of U.S. online adults saying they use at least one of the aforementioned digital concierge. Intelligent agents can access calendars, email accounts, browsing history, playlists, purchases, and media viewing history to create a detailed view of any given individual. With this knowledge, virtual agents can provide highly customized assistance, right, which is valuable to shop, or banks trying to deliver better customer service. So they predict that there will be a net loss of 7% of U.S. jobs by 2025, 16% by 2025.
Well, that's what happens when people are lazy and don't want to work.
It's well, yeah.
If we follow the Bank of America model for managing accounts, that's what we all need to do.
No, seriously, that's quite. People don't want to do the jobs, and they want crazy amounts of money to do customer support.
No, to test video games.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, $25 an hour to sit in front. Oh, well, you'll be replaced with a robot. It's already happening with fast food. You saw Wendy's is this year beginning their rollout of kiosks, and you won't be talking to somebody at the counter anymore. You'll just be ordering it on the screen. And
there'll be a bin with a little stainless steel door open, and your food will slide down into.
Well, no, there'll still be people cooking it, but you can about cut your staff in half if they're not serving customers. So good.
Yeah,
I'll let your food will slither down.
That's what happens when you want $12 an hour to screw up my order.
Yep.
And
this is all self-inflicted. Let's just make that. As much as that sucks, it's all self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted.
Yes.
You wanted to be paid too much.
Well, it's not even that. It's people want customer support instantly. People don't want to wait. People don't want to wait on the phone. People don't want to do this. People don't want to do that. So it's all self-inflicted. You complain about wait times on the phone. They're not going to hire more people. They're going to come up with an automated robot that'll answer your questions for you.
They'll fob you off with excuses.
Yeah,
you won't be to argue back at them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is our fault. We have created this. It's totally us.
Hey, Steve, on a sort of related note about customer service and expectations and so on, I heard a story, or listened to an analysis, I should say, of the results of Brexit.
Yeah.
And how it's not anything like the naysayers and doomsayers were saying. And in some cases, things are actually improving.
Yeah. I was talking to Mike Jorvik yesterday when we were talking to an American friend with some Chinese, and the American friend was quite adamant that Brexit is detrimental and it's doom and gloom for the UK and everything. And I don't follow politics and business and stuff as much as Jorvik does. And he was saying that actually, no, it's... a lot of it was speculation, was that it's going to be terrible, it's going to be doom and gloom, and that the pound's going to drop in value, which, fine, it did to begin with, but it's brought itself back up again now. And a lot of British companies are actually doing big or better business now that we're coming out of the EU, because they can actually go through and actually deal with negotiations and things themselves, rather than having the EU do it for them. So business is actually beginning to boom, if anything.
No, yeah. And I remember this because I followed Brexit very, very closely. It was we're all gonna die. It was gonna be the end of the world.
Yeah.
Literally, the world economies were gonna crash. It was gonna be like a depression like we've never seen before. All the money is gone. You might as well just pack up and go home. And it's totally the opposite. The pound, the stock market over in the UK is hitting all-time highs. It's total fear mongering.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you think about it realistically, we had 40 years of the EU doing everything for us and wiping our bums and everything else, and now all of a sudden we're going to do things ourselves and don't have to depend on the EU. And as a small, medium, or large-size business, it's up to you what you do now. You aren't held to any restrictions, so the world is your oyster. Yep. And it seems to be that the oyster is quite a nice one. Thanks very much.
You got out just in time, Steve, because the European Union just decreed that every town has to have free 100 megabit wireless.
Well, that's perfect. That's
perfect. Just if your town has 6 people in it, you got to put this in.
Yeah,
you got to have, because it's by decree. It's a human right to have 100 megabit free wireless at every town.
There's lots of comparisons between Brexit and the current U.S. election, in my opinion.
Oh, Nick, we had a neighborhood gathering last night, and it was a great topic. And what I brought up, and people were arguing back and forth. This guy, oh, he sucks, she sucks. And I said, okay, let me give you a different argument to think about this from. If you like the fact that the government of the United States is supposed to have what's called checks and balances, three separate entities, the judicial branch, the executive branch, and the legislative branch, are supposed to play off each other and protect us from abuse. Does it work? I don't know. I don't think so. But the point was, I said, okay, so if you get one candidate, and I'm not going to mention names, they will get a pass. They will get the Supreme Court. They will get everything they want and there will be no checks and balances, or very few. If you get the other candidate, it'll be the most scrutinized candidate in many, many, many years, where everybody, both sides, will be scrutinizing what they do. And I said, which would you choose? Someone who will get a free pass to do whatever they want, or somebody who will actually be, and everybody reacted to that. But I just had to throw it out there to say, you need to think about this from different perspectives other than what you think of that person's personality.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Speaking of politics, if you're interested in this stuff, go to atnshow.com. Newest episode of Against the Norm went up last night, and you can check that out.
Absolutely. ATN.
Yep, Against the Norm. atnshow.com. Or hour. It's an hour. Every week's an hour long, so it's something you could fit into a drive to and from work if something you're interested in. So yeah, check it out. I'm always looking for feedback.
Okay. Well, it's that time of day.
I've got one other quick thing.
Yes, go ahead.
My area code is splitting, and I'm now not looking forward to it.
They're leaving. They're getting out. They're splitting.
Yeah. Yep. They're declaring declaring independence.
That's it.
When did your guys' area code split?
We didn't really split in Raleigh, but we had to start using 10 digits.
Yeah. When was that? When did you have to start doing that?
Oh, a few years ago.
How big of a pain is it, or was it?
Just getting used to.
I'm not looking forward
it's not
to it
a
at all.
pain.
Many devices, though, will add, if you dial a 7-digit number, they'll assume that you mean.
Yeah.
Like
there are some
like
that
my home
assume.
phone. I don't have to put in the local area code if I'm dialing a local number. It assumes.
But the 919 area code, which was like
the entire state at one point.
Yeah, that split. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They added new area codes for mobile phones too, for other parts of the state. New numbers, and I think we have like four or five area codes now.
Nick, the thing is, in the first few days it'll be a pain, and you will real fast get used to it.
Yeah, just trying to figure out.
Were you 914, Nick?
No, I'm 518.
518. I'm sorry. Yeah,
when are they going?
Lower south.
When are they going to do it?
In the next few. But if you look, the 518. Let me see if I can show this really quick. The 518 is a very large area code.
Okay, here's the question.
I don't know if you can see this, but is this popping up on the screen, Emma?
Yeah, it's on the screen. Lower it. Well,
I can't
let
really
me
lower
see.
it.
No, I can't.
Oh, here I can. But like this, the 518 is pretty much from about Kingston all the way up to the New York border. It's a very large area code, and I think they'll run out of numbers in 2017. So
here is the question, Nick.
Yeah.
Can you, if you want to dial your grandma?
Yeah.
Can you dial 518 and the number?
Can I? Yes. Do I? No.
Okay, that's what they were saying in the beginning. I remember a lot of people were saying, start getting used to dial.
Well, here's the thing, though. I don't dial phone numbers.
Oh yeah, that's
Everything
true.
is programmed. So like now I'm gonna have to go through all my contacts and add 518 to them. That's really inconvenient.
That's a good point, because I don't know what happens when you set it up
Tax.
to your area code, because your area code is changing and it's not covering. I don't know how
my
they find
area
out.
code, I mean, it's only going to be new numbers. It's not really a split as much as they're just adding a new
Yeah.
area code.
No, I remember, I mean, living in New York, it was 212, and then they came up with the 718.
That 212 number, my boss has a 212 number
Yeah.
from Manhattan. He just sold it for a couple $1,000, the phone number.
Wow.
Because the 212 area code is so, it's a Midtown number, and it's so
Desirable
Yeah, so desirable.
from a business perspective to say, "Oh yes, we're in Manhattan."
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're spending a $1 trillion on rent anyway, you might as well. Who cares? It was a couple $1,000s for a phone
Yeah,
number.
why not?
It's it was I remember what the number was. It was
But
definitely
to answer your
212.
question, it's not that much of a problem. I mean, in the beginning, actually, when you dial the number, they would tell you that pretty soon you're going to have to dial it with 3, but it will go through.
okay.
It'll pass. Today, it's a second nature.
Yeah, it says
And
I don't know.
many, if
I don't
not
know when.
all, the voice over IP companies, they know that you can dial your own area code with just 7 digits.
so with Time Warner as my phone carrier.
I
if
don't-
need to dial a
I'm not
518.
sure whether they do it or not, but
Oh, okay.
it all depends. I know that UMA does allow it 7
Yeah.
digit.
All right. Well,
I think
that's
I'm all
something.
for 30-digit dialing.
Yeah.
At least 30 digits. Maybe more.
I think actually we are the largest area code still that has not had to introduce a second. So
Okay. Anything else, guys?
Yep.
not a.
All right.
Nope. Fine. Thank you very much,
So
everybody.
thanks, Steve. Thanks, Spence. Nick. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and upgrade your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. At 12 o'clock today, it's the Gisela show. And tonight at 8, there's actually no Tanya show. So I'll see you either 12 or tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the break. Bye, everybody.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Help Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.